is up, Huncho? How we doing, brother? Live from Tampa for the Buccateers. Hope you could hear me all right. I'm out on the balcony.
Yeah, you sound good, man. Welcome to the Bay again.
So that's pretty cool. But how the hell are you this morning, Hunch?
I'm all right, just taking it easy, getting ready for this football week.
We got a big one tomorrow, Monday Night Football. Feels weird saying that tomorrow. Saints, Bucs. Bucs got the best of the Saints the first time, but a lot of changed since then. The Bucs were looking primed for a big year at that point at 2-0, and now we're all of a sudden faltering at 5-6 heading into this one. We're a game under 500, but we are in first in the division still, so that's pretty crazy how that's working. But we can't play with fire forever. I think one of these days it's going to catch up to us in one of these games. What say you, Hunch? We'll see if we could get Hunch back, but nonetheless, we are here live from Tampa, Florida, and we're doing our thing, and we're going to roll the intro on the Buccateers. Stay tuned. We got so much more on the other side. Huncho and Tampa Tones previewing Monday Night Football live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You're tuned in to the Buccateers. Stay with us. We'll be back in a flash. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
We are live from Tampa, Florida. Huncho Tampa Tones here, previewing Monday Night Football, Saints, Bucs, in a big preview, in a big rivalry. If the Saints lose, they're looking down and out. If the Bucs lose, they're looking down and out. So all the chips are on the line here. Andy Dalton, interestingly enough, is starting. Also, shout out to Corey Hayes joining us right now. Thanks for watching Brunch with the Buccateers this morning. Corey, we do appreciate that. But, Huncho, what are your thoughts on Andy Dalton getting the starting nod over Jameis Winston at this point for the Saints?
Well, it's one subpar quarterback starting over another subpar quarterback. We all know what Jameis is capable of and what he's going to do. Not too much of a difference I don't see. I mean, between the two, probably the turnovers is what drove them to go with Andy Dalton over him. But pretty much I don't see too much of a difference in those two type of quarterbacks. He's probably more competent at the QB position, so I give him that. But other than that, I don't expect too much of a big day for Andy Dalton or like he's going to have a great game. It's just the turnovers that they went with him.
Real quick, since it is Sunday and we're talking about the rest of our division, well, not the rest, but our opponents, the Saints, we got a big one today for the Bucs division's sake. We got Steelers traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Obviously, the Falcons are hot on our tail as we got Joe from Cleveland. He's in Tampa as well. He's tuned in. Thanks for joining in from breakfast. But we got Pittsburgh going to Atlanta today. Atlanta's a half game behind the Bucs right now. So they're 5-7. We're 5-6. We obviously have the head-to-head win, and we play them one more time to end the season. Huncho, what say you? You like Pittsburgh or Atlanta in that game? That's a big one for the South.
I mean, of course, I definitely want Pittsburgh to win, but I don't know. I mean, it's just this division is so poor. I can't even. I don't even know Phantom or them winning that game. It's a toss up, really. But I'm definitely gonna go with Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett could keep it together with those wide receivers, and if the running game can get going, yeah, then you never know what can happen. And far as coaching, they have one of the best head coaches, in my opinion, in the league. He's been doing it for a while, and if it comes down to coaching, I guarantee he can get the job done.
I love Mike Tomlin. He's an incredible head coach. And one good thing for the Steelers heading into today's game, Najee Harris will be active and playing for them. Their running back, who has looked better when he has been healthy the last couple of weeks. He got injured last week against Indianapolis.
Right.
So Pittsburgh feared that he'd be out for a while, but he's ready to roll today. It sounds like that's a big one.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one. He went out last week early in the game, so they're going to need him if they want to have a complete team and have a good running game. He is a big part of that, and that will give a boost to that offense. So I am looking forward for them to actually get the win.
And we would love that as Bucs fans because we know that tomorrow's game means so much. If the Bucs win tomorrow, they get 500, and if the Saints could beat the Falcons today and they fall to 5-8, we'd gain a game and a half lead in the division with playing them again with the current head-to-head tiebreaker. So that's a lot better of a situation than where if Atlanta wins today, and regardless of what happens tomorrow, you're only up a half a game at that point in time. But at the end of the day, the division is underwhelming, and the Bucs could only do what they can to try and right the wrongs that they've made from the beginning of the season. I mean, if you would have said at year's beginning we lost to a Carolina team that not only fired their head coach, they were on their third quarterback. They just traded
Right.
McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson. If you were to say we lost to Pittsburgh, if you were to say we lost to Cleveland without Deshaun Watson, you would be crazy to think right now that the Bucs would be, even though it is at 5-6, would be in first in the division.
Right. Still hurts, man. To this day, it still hurts to actually, when you call those names off of those teams, it really still hurts to hear those names because those teams are very, very piss poor. And it's like, are we a bad team or are we a good team? Or are we just a team that can't figure it out right now? I'm not sure, but it's just sad when you lose to those type caliber teams that go on and lose to damn near every other team, and they somehow get a win against us.
I agree. It's like, come on, but I feel like we're going to right the wrongs here on Monday night. If we could beat the Saints for a second time, that would be huge for our moral, huge for our confidence, and huge for the season. And that
Yes.
would be incredible for us. And I think we really have it in us in Monday Night Huncho. I'm really thinking so. I mean, if we could get Leonard Fournette and Rashad White to produce and Lenny F to get a little healthier, I think that could be huge down the run. And I think we could be or have one of the better running back tandems in the NFL.
Oh, most definitely. It definitely comes to the running game, and with those two, I like with Rashard White leading the way, and Lenny coming behind him with the 1-2 punch. It worked before in Seattle, and it looked very productive. But far as we got a lot to improve on, starting from up top. You already know what I'm going to say. So we just got to find a way to win, and then it's got to start from up top with the coaching, man. If we want to win this game here, we can't get out coached, especially by Dennis Allen.
And one thing from being in the Tampa area the past 24, 28 hours or so, maybe not even, but hope to link up with you. I'm here till Wednesday. Huncho, I got your Buccateers mini helmets as well. But one thing I have learned, a lot of fans are growing uneasy with Todd Bowles at this moment, which is a shame because this is a guy who had a lot of the team behind him at the beginning of the season. Everyone was kind of excited for Todd Bowles.
Yeah, I had high expectations for him also because you basically got a team that was gift wrapped it to you with the Tom Brady, Chris Godwin. Even though he was coming off the injury, he's a very good player. He was going to get back in his form. And also you have Mike Evans. You had the whole team that was gifted to you, ready to go. All you had to do was steer it in the right direction. And I feel like he's failed to do that. He's made a couple horrible decisions, and I feel like the coaching, as far as the coaching and allowing the offense to be what it is, and not trying to make a change, even either to the offensive coordinator or try to change some things around. And it's just it's like piss poor. It's effortless, and he's playing scared, and he's acting like he doesn't have any cojones right now. And I came in this year, and I love Todd Bowles, and I love the coaching staff, but right now I'm very weary of them, and I have very little confidence in what they can do, especially when we play a very competent head coach with that can just dice us up and just like per se Andy Reid and what they did to us. Like it's gonna get ugly.
Listen, I love Todd Bowles, and I met him in April at the Arians Family Foundation golf outing. Great guy, truly good guy, and I think he's trying his best. I really do. I just think that he's more of a defensive coordinator. At the end of the day,
Correct.
that's what the cloth is cut for him. That's not a knock on him. Some guys are just better coordinators than head coaches, but
Right.
to me, that's what you get in a Todd Bowles.
Right. It's too much on his plate, it seems like. As a defensive coordinator of the defense, I must say they have been doing good. They have been holding teams to a pretty good number. The offense, it's just been stagnant. I feel like the guys aren't being held accountable from the head coach. I mean, from the offensive coordinator on down to the players. Mike Evans and Tom Brady has not been on the same page. If you can, if you for some odd reason, and the same play calls with the first down runs, we're seeing more of that. You have the play action that's working for you, and you're not going to it. What's going on with that? It's just a lot of things that just needs to be adjusted on the offensive side. And if we can correct it, I mean, I believe we can, because we have one of the best quarterbacks. Well, we have the best quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. So as long as we have him, I always have belief. But if I'm leaning towards the coaching staff, they give me little hope, man.
That's the thing. We have Tom Brady, so you could always right the wrongs, even with how inept the coaching staff has been so far. With Byron Leftwich, poor play calling. With Todd Bowles, failed decision making, and removing Byron Leftwich from calling plays, perhaps maybe not even from the OC title, but just removing his play call and letting Clyde Christensen take over. I don't know. Bowles failed to shake it up, but we have Tom Brady, we have Mike Evans, we have Chris Godwin and Julio Jones. We have Hall of Famers on this offense, all pros on this offense. You mix in Leonard Fournette, you mix
Right,
in Rashad White, then when Tristan Wirfs gets healthy eventually, and then maybe even
right,
Jensen. I mean, Shaq Mason, the all pros are there. The talent is there. It's just if we could fix a little bit, patch up a little bit of these mistakes that have been coming by far too often lately. Like, for instance, last week against Cleveland, Tom Brady makes a Mahomes like play, barely gets a pass attempt off, shovels it away on a third down. The Bucs convert for a first down. Next thing you know, holding on left tackle Donovan Smith. If you want to win these games like you should against crappy teams like the Browns, you got to take advantage of that. We're joined now, thanks for tuning in this morning, by Mac McGee from Braves Country and WQEE from 3 to 5 Eastern Time on WQEE in Atlanta area on Monday through Friday. Thanks for joining us this morning, Mr. Mac McGee. But Huncho, if you could look into one aspect of tomorrow's game on the defensive side of ball. Because if we talked, our defense has looked good, and Todd Bowles has been a pretty big part of our defense looking good. With Shaq Barrett going down, you'd think it might have been a little worse at this time, but we are banged up heading into tomorrow. Winfield questionable, Edwards questionable, Logan
yeah.
Ryan out. Do you think our defensive backs will be able to hold their own tomorrow? For instance, say if we know Logan Ryan's out, but just say if Edwards and or Winfield are out, do you think will be able to hold their own tomorrow against a weaker Saints offense?
I definitely don't. I mean, I want to have faith in it, but it's just seen Winfield plays so much of a viable role in that defense. Yes, he does, and also Mike Edwards, he also plays a major role in that, and he does play good. He's a ball hawk, and with Keanu Neal replacing him, I guess, and it'll be Keanu Neal, correct? Yeah. So
Correct,
yeah,
correct. I'm sorry about that.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so Keanu Neal, I'm not too big on him. He's a hitter, and that seems like it. He's not a for sure tackler, and he's not a good cover. He seems like he's out of position a lot, and I don't know. I mean, as far as that defense is, if the front line can get to the quarterback, then we have an opportunity. But the injuries at this time of the year in a big game like this might just cost us at the wrong time, because we need those playmakers back there. And also we need good penetration, and we need same thing on offense with Tristan Wirfs. That's going to be a blow. You know, Cam Jordan's on that side. If they're going to put Josh Wells on that end, it's going to be terrible, man. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be a long game. And if Brady doesn't have time, then you already know it's going to be pretty much like the first game when we played them. So I mean, injuries is very, very important. I just hopefully this coaching staff can find a way to utilize what we have and still put on a pretty good performance.
The interesting thing with Josh Wellesley, we call him, he's been on the team for, I think, since 2019 now. Yeah, 2019. So this would mark his 4th year with the franchise. He's a good backup, but he always gets injured right when he gets into the damn game. It's like you can't rely on the guy. As soon as he gets in, he's either getting hurt or committing a bad false start penalty. He could hold his own, but the fact of the matter is, nothing against Wellesley, he's just never available enough to hold his own out there. And when you do have him out there, obviously he's not effective as the best right tackle in football. Tristan Wirfs, no doubt in my mind, best right tackle in football, and honestly probably a top 2 or top 1 tackle, left or right tackle combined. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't agree with that, you've been living under a rock, not watching the Buccaneers. But Tristan Wirfs is incredible. So Wells,
Yes.
I agree. No matter how good Wells plays, it ain't going to be as effective as Tristan Wirfs out there.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one Sunday. A very long one.
And then Donovan Smith, I think he's going to play a little better as well this year. I don't think he's been awful. Don't get me wrong. He's played a lot of good defensive ends and whatnot. But when you do give a guy that much money, you'd like a little more out of him
Right.
when, the big games are on the line. Like Myles Garrett last week,
Yeah, I mean with Donovan Smith, it's like costly penalties at the wrong time. It's like out of the wrong times, good drives going, you're right there, and he gets the drive, he gets the penalty usually on first down or third down. You push back, and now you're in horrible position, and now our offensive coordinator is not built for third and longs and stuff like that. We're gonna crumble, and when every time he commits a penalty, we always kill the drive. It kills that drive every time, if I can remember correctly. Every time he commits a false start, it kills our drive. And he does that. It's been a few times this year, and it's been costly times. He did it against the Browns while we were driving, and that stalled the whole drive. So I mean, he has to. I understand trying to protect Brady, but some of those penalties, because you gotta play better, especially for the dollar amount that you're making. You gotta play better, man.
And do you think last week's loss to the Browns has been the most devastating yet to this point? Because it looked like we were just dominating or about to dominate that game at one point when it got to 17-10, and then our offense was driving, and then we just could never quite close.
Actually, it actually is sad. It's actually because it wasn't a players. I believe it was a lot. Besides Mike Evans and Tom Brady being off the same page, it's been pretty much the coaching, the decisions. Why are you not play actioning more? Why aren't you running more hurry up offense? If you see that it's been working for you, why haven't you been doing it more often? And that what frustrates me, because we are not doing what our strong suits are, and we're not playing against their weaknesses.
Yeah.
It's like we're doing the complete opposite. Like we're trained to lose or something, and I don't get it. And it feels like if this coaching staff is not good at adjusting on the fly or in the game, it's like they have their scripted plays, they have their ways about how they want to run their offense, and they're sticking to it, and their stubbornness is going to cost us games. And as you can see, Todd Bowles at the end of the last game, and he did his press conference, he was lost. He didn't even know about it. He seemed like he didn't even know about a timeout or to call a timeout. And then you throw your quarterback under the bus by saying you're scared for him to throw an interception. Like, this is Tom Brady we're talking about, the GOAT. He just led you in how many comebacks this year? And you go and say this man is he's going to throw an interception. That's why you didn't want to use the timeout? Come on, man. That's not how you play. In the football league, you're playing scared. And when you play scared, you're going to lose. You got to play to win. As Bruce Arians said, No risk it, no biscuit. And it's like they lost that attitude about them, and now they're playing with their tails tucked, and they're not coming out firing, and they're not coming out aggressive. We're playing not to lose, but we're not playing to try to go win the game.
Exactly. And the thing with Bruce Arians is even when he made faults or mistakes, his reasoning at least made sense. His logic made sense on why he chose to do something, right? Like even when he took that 5-yard penalty and moved Matt Gay back 5 yards, that even made a little sense. Like when we lost against the Giants, because kickers say they like kicking better from 31, 32 than 27 based on the
Right.
angle. So even when Bruce made mistakes, he was peppered with answers for him. Here you got Todd Bowles making mistakes, and I'm
They're looking
sorry,
clueless. Looking clueless.
clueless, and I love Todd Bowles as a person, good guy. But look at
Correct.
Jeff
Me too.
Saturday, new head coach. A lot of people doubted him. What did he do? I don't even think his timeout decision making was as bad as Todd Bowles. But Jeff Saturday went to the podium right after and said, "Hey, I could have managed my timeouts
Correct.
better."
Exactly.
Yada yada
Accountability.
yada. Accountability. On the other hand, you have Todd Bowles making excuses, as you alluded to, saying, I don't trust Tom Brady, or
That
maybe
moment.
not to that extent, but he said, I don't want to risk throwing an interception with the game on the line. And how do you not call those timeouts? And then how do you go for it on 4th and 1 at one point from like your own 30-yard line early on in the game, but then
Exactly.
you don't have balls to not go for it on like 4th and 2 from the Browns
It's
like
just horrible.
34-yard line, or even try and kick a field goal with suck up at that point to make it a 10-point game. The Bucs
No
didn't
faith.
either and let the Browns get a long drive.
It has no. He shows no balls. He shows no faith on the football field. Because I like him as a person. Also, he's very cool. And yeah, but you don't have that aggression in you. It seems like you're more laid back and you're passive on a lot of things. You gotta, if you want to be aggressive from top to bottom, be aggressive. You need to identify what type of coaching style you're gonna have. And right now we have no coaching identity. Right now it's just go out there and play and hope that we get a win. Like you can't take you can't take chances early and then you back off of them. Like I believe your players they start to second guess your coaching and what you're doing, because right, like as you just stated with the 4th and 2, why not do something? You and then it frustrates me because you had against the Seattle, Scotty Miller had, in my opinion, one of his best games when they put him in little coverages, used him on the outside. They did certain things for Scotty Miller to excel at that position. Why not put him in and give him a little couple few reps along with K Dot? And they didn't go to him. They preferred to go to Bray over him, and K Dot was coming along pretty good. I'm just second guessing a lot of these decisions that this coaching staff is making. Like as we can see this as fans and point out what's working, and other teams, they also stated we're predictable. So why is the coaching staff still being stubborn and not trying to do what benefits us and works for us? 4th and 2 on that side of the line, like you got to go for it. Knock the breath out of them. Don't let them get a fighting chance to come back and win. You got to suck the air out of the team and make them feel lifeless, no matter. And we're playing in their home. The conditions are bad. Come on, you gotta try to take as much, uh, you gotta try to put so much pressure on their necks when you get the opportunity. And Todd doesn't play like that. He plays just to not win, just to not like, and that's not gonna win you too many football games in the NFL.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. And it's just frustrating. I'd love Todd Bowles to come out and just be aggressive the rest of the year. Even if it backfires or something, I would love nothing more for Todd Bowles to just be on the aggressive
It's
side
sad.
on these
It's
decisions for
sad,
the rest
Tom.
of the year.
It's very
To be
depressing because
consistent at the very least.
it's very
You know,
depressing. It's very depressing,
I
Tom.
agree with
You
you
gotta,
on the Scotty Miller though too, because Bruce Arians, he would have special plays drawn up for Scotty Miller. I mean, look at that Green Bay playoff game. What was there? 10 seconds left in the half, and it
and
was Scotty
balls
Miller
to the
running
wall.
downfield.
Right, correct. It's you never every down is an opportunity to go score. and that's how he's supposed to treat it. And he does. He doesn't. He wants to do enough just to get us out of position, just to get the ball closer to them, to give them. Oh, I believe in our defense. I believe in our defense. You keep putting all this pressure on our defense, but what are you going to expect for the offense to do? You got to have that same expectation for the offense. You just can't have it for the defense, And it's sad because it's Brady's last year, maybe, and this is what he comes back to. You mean a horrible coaching job and your play? Like, come on, man. We have no excuses. We have all our players damn near that's good enough to win those games like that. And you are killing us with coaching. When it comes to coaching, that should never be the reason why you lose a game. And it's sad because even after this year, I don't know how committed they are to this coaching staff. They might carry them on and further on, and they're going to hinder us later on in the few years to come, and it's sad. Like right now, I don't have no answers. It's like we're regressing more than we're progressing right now.
Yeah, and a lot of people keep saying we're going to regress to the means, and we have the talent to do so, no doubt about it. It's just if we
Exactly.
could execute. It's just if the coaching could make better decision making. I firmly believe we have an opportunity down the stretch to do so, and our division opens that up ourselves. Not that we could obviously overlook anyone because the Falcons took us to the wire and the Panthers beat us, obviously, but we still have the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers remaining. If you could, at a minimum, win those 3 games, not saying you
But
should pat yourself on the back, but that should be good enough to win
yeah,
you your division.
improvement.
And then you try and figure it out against teams like the Bengals and the
Exactly.
49ers in those other games when you have that fierce competition, and hope that you make a little more success against those good teams. Even if you lose against a team like the 49ers, if you die trying, if you're out there on fourth
And you give it your
down,
all.
you're going for it, yep, and you lose by 3, and it's a heartfelt effort. I'm proud of Todd Bowles. If we go to San Fran, we play not to lose, get smacked around or whatnot. I'm very disturbed by Todd Bowles. Before we bring Huncho's thoughts on that in, we are live here from Tampa, Florida, Water Street, Marriott Water Street, very beautiful place.
Mhm.
Huncho and Tampa Tones with you for about 11 to 12 more minutes here. Is it ain't a longie, but it's a goodie here on the Buccateers Brunch with the Buccateers. We got the Godfather James Rubright joining us live on Facebook. If you guys also want to join us in other outlets, we're available on Bucs Life News Facebook, Tampa Tones Facebook, Buccateers Twitter, and Buccateers YouTube as well. So we got some interesting cheerleading seminar going down right now in the middle of downtown Florida. We had the Lightning playing last night. We got Bucs playing Monday Night Football. Lightning here Tuesday. So this area is lit right now, Hunch. I think all the fans would love nothing more but a big Monday Night Football victory against one of the most hated rivals. And I'll tell
Yeah,
you what, there's a lot of Saints fans here, man. There are a
of course.
ton of Saints fans.
Of course, it's a ton of Saints fans that live here. You understand what I'm saying? So, with the combined with the ones that's visiting and coming to support their team because the hatred that they have for us, and they know it's going to be a good game, or they have the possibility to win. Why not travel and come watch the game? And it's just I'm going back to what you were saying about the game and games and winning and trying to get some momentum. If we lose this game come Monday, it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be very bad, and it's very bad. I see this is a big game. If you can't defeat the Saints right now, I feel like that it's not record rise. It might not, but just morale. You get what I'm saying for the team. It just knocks a lot of confidence out, and I know it's just like you just been on a skid and you haven't figured it out. And I guarantee if we lose this game, I just feel like a lot of changes needs to be made. Has to be made. It has to be made because there's no way in hell that this team should be sitting right now. What 5-6? No, it's no way. It's no way in it. And if you lose to the Saints 5-7, like nobody predicted this, nobody seen this, nobody thought this would be our record, and it's going to be devastating for the rest of the year. And losing players in the process is bad, just bad coaching. I'm going to step back here and say if we would have won that game, just think about the players that wouldn't got hurt. If we would have won that game in the fourth quarter, the players we wouldn't have lost in overtime because we went and played in overtime and lost Tristan Wirfs, Mike
Pop says
Edwards.
it all the time.
You get what I'm saying? just losing players on because it's coaching. Like, it's one thing to lose, but to lose players also while you're losing and incompetent coaching is the cause for it. You have to have a level of concern that's got to be very high up there. The Glazers got to look down and they got to call it how they see it. They got to call that shit out. The fans are calling for the coaches to be fired and the players to play better, and they're gonna have to do something and make some changes, because there's no way people are going to pay to see this team, and they signed up for 2 years to go play and watch this team, and they're playing like shit. You understand? They're not performing as well as they're supposed to be performing, and it all leads back to this coaching staff, and they're going to have to make some very significant changes in the middle of this year, because you don't know if you're going to get Brady back. I know they're saying it's the middle of the year. The Bucs are not going to make any changes with Byron and all this. They're committed to what they're doing, and they trust their coaching staff. But that's bullshit. That's baloney. That's bullshit. And you can see right here in front of our eyes that it's getting worse and worse. And Todd Bowles, the last press conference I seen, it was complete sickening just watching him just sit there with pure ignorance, without any regards to your mistakes, and just basically reiterating the same things that you say every week. We have to play better. We know that. We all know this. The players know this. But the fact, what are you going to do that's better? You're not calling yourself out, and that's what I have a problem with. You're calling the play style. You're trying to make it seem like it's just that. No, you have to recognize when you're wrong, and you have to address it. At least give us that courtesy to understand that you see where you're making your mistakes at, and try to attempt to fix it, bro. Because it's getting worse and worse. And if we lose this game Sunday, I'm just gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if they stay with the coaching staff, but it's just frustrating.
Very frustrating, and we'll get to more of that all in a second. We got a couple comments here to get to. Tony M joining the show on YouTube says, salute the channel. Let's go Bucs. Absolutely, Tony. We're going to keep cheering on our boy. Right? That's your boy, Hunch? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now we got My Miles joining in from Facebook. Good to see you, Tones. I grew up with Miles. He moved away. He's back in the area, so I'm gonna have to catch up with you. Good to hear from you as well, Miles.
That's good. Good support right there.
Absolutely, we love it. And then Tony has another comment. Facts shouldn't have been there. Clock management was shit. You alluded to it, Huncho, and my pop said the same thing. If you don't squeak into overtime like that, Worse doesn't get injured, and I think another injury occurred in overtime as well.
Winfield with he had the concussion, and Edwards. They felt it was actually like kind of back to back on that drive. It was back to back plays, and it was like, wow, he's dragging us.
And dude, no reason why we lost at all. So don't, if you're using me as a soundbite out there, don't take this and be like, hey, Tampa Tones is making excuses. But dude, that thing was terrible. I mean,
it was.
The story last week, someone literally broke onto the field in a pickup truck. Tore that thing to freaking bits.
It wasn't a pickup truck. It was actually a golf cart. Somebody was in a golf cart, and they did
golf cart.
Yeah, and they went through there, and actually they tore up the field. But they got it fixed, and the conditions. You got to look at it like this: the Browns played on the same field, so I'm not making it. And before that, the Seahawks, when they played,
I'm alluding to the injuries more, not why we lost.
Most def. I understand what you're saying completely, but it's just the fact that the field's conditions, they are where they are, and it's a shitty field, shitty coaching, shitty game. It was a compound of a lot of shit that happened, and we end up losing that fucking game that we shouldn't have lost, and we shouldn't have lost those players. And I feel like some coaches got to be held accountable.
Some last-minute fantasy news for you, just regular NFL fans watching. The guy who killed the Bucs last week, as they call him in Cleveland, the Chief, David Njoku, he is officially inactive today.
Wow, that's just wow.
Go figure, right? He's inactive today after being the hero against the Bucs last week.
Hell of a catch. I got to give it to him. Hell of a catch, but it shouldn't happen.
Devin White was all over him, but to me, you got to put over-the-top help on a guy like that in the red zone as well.
Yes, and man, look at that ballsy. That was real ballsy of them, man. Look at the 4th and 10 right there. That's for the game right there, and you just have so much confidence and faith right then and there. And Jacoby Brissett, he answered the call, man. Got to give it to him, man. He made some big time throws right there on that drive, and that was one of them, man. At 4th and 10, and you go to the end zone high above, like that was a gutsy one because that was the game on the line, and that's the
Yeah.
type of attitude you got to have to win the game.
And another thing that sickens me as well is we got about 4 to 8 minutes left on the Buccateers Live from Tampa, Florida. Huncho and Tones co-piloting you through NFL Sunday and Buccateers Monday Night Football pregame preview here on Breakfast or Brunch with the Buccateers Saints Bucs. But Cortland Sutton's in today as well. But one thing I want to allude to in the Bucs Browns game as well, David Njoku makes that catch. Okay, they had Jacoby Brissett. We've played Jacoby Brissett for what, 3 years straight now in
Right.
or in Tampa when he was a member of the Colts, in Tampa when he was a member of Miami. Maybe not 3 years straight, but 3 out of 4 years, and now against
3
Cleveland.
different
You should
teams.
know this
Yeah.
guy like a book right now.
Right.
And
Correct.
he was making some plays out there.
Correct. They fought back, and they shouldn't have been in that game. They didn't. We didn't capitalize on our opportunities, and it's a lot of failed attempts that we should have at least attempted to do, but we didn't even try. And Jacoby Brissett, it's like we lose to the below average, you know what I'm saying, quarterback in him, and the PJ Walkers, and you know what I'm saying, the Kenny Pickett's, and come on, man, these type of guys are not even top tier quarterbacks, and we're losing to them. Come on, man, it's sickening. And then that's why we put on a performance like we do when we play teams like the Chiefs with a very powerhouse coach and a quarterback and a tight end, because it's like the dynamic, the offense is going to keep putting up points, and if our offense can't put up any points, it's going to be a shit show. And man, uh, I just hope something clicks with this team and changes around, but I mean, it's not going to happen out of the blue.
And before we do score predictions, player of the games, one big thing, and walk off and bounce out of here. My brother says a lot too. The Bucs defense plays great all game, but then when it matters most, it seems like they seem to let up a big drive or a big score at the beginning of the game or the end of the game or something. Perfect example against Cleveland.
They probably got bored.
They fly down the
Yep.
They fly down the field for 7, and then they end the game with that touchdown into Njoku. Not that I'm blaming, I wouldn't blame the defense nearly as much as the offense, but how do you think that could tighten up or shore up a little bit, Huncho, where the defense in those big time situations? Do you think it's who we have on the field in those situations? Our defense is just tired by that point in the game, or do you think the personnel we're calling?
Personnel. That was just a good design by Cleveland to get Devin White on Njoku, and for him to actually throw that ball high up there, for him to high point that ball. It was just an awesome catch because it was one-handed. But yeah, it was a perfect play design, perfect personnel for the Browns to line up and go for that right then. And you know what I'm saying? It was, other than that, man, defense, they've been playing good, and we're not even fully healthy. I mean, Logan Ryan, I feel like we need him back. Shaq Barrett is gone, so the pressure is not completely there. Joe Tryon over pursues, so it's a lot of shit going on with that defense. Vita, he was kind of quiet that game. It's just a lot of shit that was going on. Levante, he's been good, but he hasn't been the best Levante I've seen. Winfield, he gives me the hope of that defense, and when he's out there, he's not out there. It concerns me, especially when you got guys like Sean Murphy Bunting out there running around, man. It's just like he's a target. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's shitty. The defense has its lumps and bumps and bruises, but come on, the offense got to give them something to work with. They're the least of my worries right now, but the offense is very, very worries me a lot.
And SMB has speaking of regression, SMB has been one of the biggest worrying regressions in my opinion, and maybe that's just why we haven't seen him all too much this year in general. A lot of people at the beginning of the year assumed maybe we were doing it to cover up SMB to pay him cheap next year for his contract, yada yada yada. But you don't do that in the NFL.
No, you don't do shit like that. You don't do shit like that. You got a good player, you play a good player. You play a good player and you pay a good player. That's what it is. You don't try to keep him for cheap. No, he's not nothing. But what he showed us, he's nothing. He's nothing. He came in. He made a couple good plays in the playoffs, but that was it. And he fizzled out. He got hurt. He hasn't came back, and I don't see a reason to keep him around.
Yep, I agree. I mean, the way he's playing right now, it's hard to make the argument. When you got other big free agents as well, like a Jamel Dean and Mike Edwards looming in,
Definitely.
I don't know if there's any cheddar left in the box for a guy like SMB. Nothing against him as a person, good guy, but on the field, a little lackadaisical. Hunch?
What's I have a where is the money that we put toward the money that we put Kyle Rudolph? He hasn't played but 3-4 snaps that was meaningful and got us first down. But where's this guy at? Like this is the answers. Like this the incompetence shit that we do. Like we go get players and then just sit them on the fucking bench, and he's inactive. He's not even playing the game, but you paid him and you bought him in, and it's like for what?
I'd like to see him at least in some goal line packages or something.
Like it's been crazy. I mean, that was a head scratcher since the beginning of the season. I thought he would actually get the start probably over Cam Brate, but it's like, damn, I don't get it. And we know, I feel like Cam Brate, his time in Tampa is overdue because he's not. He need give the rookie a shot and let him progress and get better. Don't put him in over the fucking rookie that's been playing phenomenal, coming up, making big catches, and Brate just dropping passes. He's slow. I don't know his blocking ability is where it's at. So it's just like we're hobbled with him in the game versus when he's out.
And Rudolph sadly looks like a tax write-off at this point. Bright looks like damaged goods. I love Cam Bright, but we'll see if the young guys like Otten and Keefe could keep it up. Keefe touchdown last week. Otten's
Good shit, Keefe. I love Keefe. It's like where are those plays when you need those first downs on that 4th and 2? Where are those type players? Like I don't get it, man. This coaching staff is just buffoons.
Just inept at its finest in the most important moments of the game. But hopefully Monday night that all changes. Score prediction and player of the game on the Bucs side of the ball for Monday night, Hunch.
Player of the game. Definitely gonna need a big game. I think Chris Godwin is gonna be a player of the game again. He's got it. Him and the Saints. They hurt him. They took him out. He had a bad injury, took him out. So I think this is one of his games he probably has circled that he wants to be very productive. He's getting better every week, and I feel like he's back in his form, not 100% completely, but after seeing his catches that he did last week, I think he's ready to go, and I expect a big performance for Chris Godwin. And score prediction, I'm going to say this team doesn't put over 21 points. I'll say 21. Maybe 14, 21-17 Bucks, but it could go either way.
And it's sad that that's a point range after being the most or second most highest scoring offense right next to Green Bay last year. These offenses look disastrous this year. By the way, Green Bay 1:00 start time today against Chicago for that rivalry. So Rodgers' last chance there, perhaps. But when I'm looking at what's up,
is Rodgers hurt or he's playing this week?
He's playing this week.
Okay.
He is in this week, so at least that adds something to the Bears-Packers game. Him and Fields both are in.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, we can't really score more than 21. I think I predicted like 24-20, but we'll be lucky to get 24. I mean, we have the talent. Don't get me wrong. If we execute, we could do it, but we just haven't seen it yet. But I'll go 24-20 Tampa. We win a nail biter because we make nothing easy on us or our fans. So we get to 6-6. I do think Pittsburgh wins today to give us a little cushion in our division. So I'm going to do a unique one here. Instead of giving a player the game ball tomorrow and making my prediction, I'm going to give it to Mike Tomlin for the game he's going to coach today. And I think Mike Tomlin as a Steeler showing up today in Atlanta ready for battle and to take down the Falcons today. What about that, Hunch?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Mike Tomlin, yeah, he's going to be a great game, and his decisions and everything that he does, he can pull his team. He can make his team win just by his simple of his coaching. So, yeah, I agree 100%.
And what's your before we bounce out of here? Is it's getting a little noisy? I don't know what the hell's going on out here right now, but sounds like we got something brewing. But what's your one big thing or walk off before we head out here for today's show?
Coaching. I want to see competent coaching. I want to see Byron call some plays. I want Todd to stop playing scared, and we're gonna see how it goes. It's a big game, Monday night game, one of the biggest rivals. It's gonna come down to our coaching versus their coaching, man. Dennis Allen, he is. If we had Sean Payton, then I would have picked us to lose if they had Sean Payton. You know what I'm saying? But being that they have Dennis Allen and he's incompetent also, it's gonna be a very good matchup. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you because Dennis Allen is even a little more incompetent than our coaching staff in my eyes. So
I thought it was impossible, but goddamn.
This is one of those situations where you could say that maybe Arizona when we play them as well. So my one big thing in walk-off, I tip my cap to the coaching as well. I think it needs to get better. And my one big thing or walk-off is if Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks play their game tomorrow, Akeem Hicks is questionable. But if he's in the game and Vita Vea is out there tomorrow, look out for Stay Live 45 Devin White to just have an impeccable game tomorrow. I think he's going to have a huge game tomorrow. Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks could shore up that middle.
45 is going to, they're going to put him on Alvin Kamara a lot. So, yeah, we play this team a lot. We know each other. We know each other's tendencies. We know what works. We just need to just put a complete game together and just hopefully come out with the dub, man.
Ain't that right, Hunch? We got to put a complete game together, try and get out with the dub, and see what the hell happens. Be on the lookout as well, ladies and gentlemen, for Christmas with the Buccateers. We're going to have a 2-day thing where we give away a bunch of stuff, bunch of mini helmets, bunch of memorabilia, football cards, and so much more. Look out for that. You guys have joined the Buccateers live from Tampa, Florida. It's been incredible. My right-hand man, Huncho, has been here. I hope to see you this weekend, brother. I got your mini helmets for you. Hit me up today if you're out and about, brother. And that was Hunch. And thanks again, Hunch. We'll see you this weekend, hopefully, brother. And
no problem. I'm gonna see you around.
Yeah, hit me up, bro. If you're out today, I'll be watching the games with the family, so feel free to link up.
All right. I'll hit you in a minute.
Yeah, hit me up, bro, and I'll be here till Wednesday. So great talking, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, stay safe, brother.
You too, bro. Huncho, Tampa Tones, we out of the building. Go Bucs, baby. Fire the damn cannons. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Mean Buck. Tampa
Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.